Cool. Welcome to the Welcome to the Covalence podcast. It's a cold, dreary day in San Diego.
Not that bad. It's all right. Well, for San Diego, it's fucking horrible. It's like, it's like the apocalypse.
Oh, it's almost there. It's almost there. We were talking before about Christmas parties. We did Jackie's because I don't have a big company that I work for.
Yeah.
And the company I do work for is in another state.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of, you can't really like Skype in on that and be like, hey, hold me up and say hi.
No, they had like a pizza party thing at like a bowling alley.
Yeah.
I don't blame them, but it's stuff that I hear like after the fact.
You didn't even get a courtesy
No,
like
nothing. Like it's just like, well, I can't really do anything for Jeff, so let's just not talk to him.
Pretend he doesn't exist.
Pretend he's not there.
Yeah. God, that sucks.
It kind of does.
Yeah.
Actually, the people that I work with are a little bit lower on the economic scale.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like they would be funner. More fun to hang out with.
Yeah.
A bunch of like warehouse workers, a lot of them are Mexicans.
Yeah, so they want to party. They want to fucking drink.
Just party and just chill. They're not going to be politically correct or whatever.
Yeah, because when you're in a business setting, everybody's like, "Oh, how's work? How's your family?" Like, there's no like real stimulating conversation. It's very like dreary and blah.
It's usually horrible.
Yeah, so you didn't get the invite though.
No, and I feel like I would have had a good time as long as I kept the Nazi euphemisms to a minimum. And I think it would have been totally fine.
At least two, only two. That's really as far as you can go. That's your quota.
It is odd though. Like when I used to hang out down by the border. Again,
just hang out by the border.
Yeah, hang out working.
Oh, okay.
I meant working.
Okay. Quote, unquote.
I meant when I went to my job. That place where I go to wait until a paycheck appears.
Hanging out by the border.
It's all Hispanics.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would go, to lunch, with them. Mm-hmm. And it was cool because, like, their idea of going to lunch was going and finding, like, the best Mexican taco truck somewhere.
Yeah, a truck, yeah.
Some sort of truck.
Yep.
And they're always the shit.
Yeah, those are the best.
And you have that, like, since we're just going to a taco truck, we're going to buy food, scarf it, and then drive back.
Yeah.
Most of the time is just driving. Mm-hmm. So all everybody's, like, crammed into, like, a car.
Yeah.
And then, you're just, like, shooting the shit, talking. I don't know. There's kind of a weird thing where people relax in a very different way when there literally is nothing that they can do.
Yeah.
Like, there's no getting out of this group. It's not like when you're standing and, like, if there's an awkward moment, it's like, oh, I haven't talked for a while, or this person hasn't said anything, or somebody gets called over by their friend Nancy or whatever, and they, like, leave the group. Like, when you're stuck in the car and it's like you're all just committed there for 15 or 20 minutes, it doesn't seem abnormal if somebody literally says nothing for 20 minminutes because other people keep the conversation going.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of like why I like car ride trips.
Yeah, long, like 8 hours.
Yeah. Because you just shoot the shit in the car the whole time. There's no expectation.
And there's no other opportunity in like normal life where you're stuck with somebody for that amount of time and you're like, well, it's either talk to you or like, just stare out the window for 8 hours. And like, so the conversation ranges everywhere too.
Everywhere.
Talk about your history, like what you like, what you don't like, future, like somebody farts and then that veers off into a conversation. Yeah, you don't get that opportunity that often.
No, because the people are stuck and they know they're stuck.
Yeah.
And they just kind of accept it. It's almost like when you're on a plane ride, you're just stuck to some person.
Yeah.
But that kind of sucks because it's not your friend.
Yeah.
It could be a great conversation or it could be a horrible conversation.
Yeah.
You ever been on that plane ride where you're on the airplane for like an hour and a half or 2 hours and it's like someone's trying to have a conversation, but you're not really, what they're asking isn't really interesting or it can't go anywhere. So it's like, you kind of there'll be like a pause for a couple of minutes, you know. And you're like, so what's it like in San Diego? You know, it's just like, oh, you know, it's all right, and then it kind of like stops.
Yeah, because you're tired and you're like, I don't feel like talking to you right now or whatever. Yeah,
yeah,
and then it goes like this, and like, and then you reach forward and you got the little pamphlet, and you're like, oh, this is nice. It's just really awkward, but like it's an acceptable awkward too. Like it's. You know, people expect that. It's not going to be the best. The thing that sucks is when you do have a good conversation, you're like, all right, I'll never see you again in my entire life. See you later. And then that's it.
It is kind of weird.
Yeah.
I think that the way that you try to make those conversations, I don't have to fly on a plane very often, but, and maybe it's just because it's my nature to be like just pretty out there, just whatever, just say whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't have any negative intent, so I'm just going to just lay some shit
out
there.
And see how the other person responds.
And there's a benefit in the airplane because you're never going to see that person.
Yeah,
and that person can like lay some shit on you, like, oh yeah, I just went out here of cheating on my boyfriend or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just using it.
Extreme. Yeah. When actually that happens when I'm Uber driving a lot. Like one of the first dudes I ever picked up, it was here in North Park, and I go to pick him up. I'm like, oh, making small talk. Hey, like, what are you up to? He's like, oh, well, yeah, I'm just gonna be honest with you because I'll never see you again. I just got done fucking this girl, and you're driving me back to my girlfriend's place, and it's kind of cool because she's never been lied to before, so I can do whatever I want, and she'll believe me. And I was like, wow, dude. But he knows, it's that same thing. He knows that we're never going to interact again, and he can just lay whatever he wants on me.
But he forgot Uber was recording the conversation.
Yeah. That's the shitty part. But yeah, I think when you're next to a complete stranger and you know you're never going to see them again, in a way you're more honest because you're unfiltered. You don't have to worry about like, oh, like how are they going to talk to somebody? Are they going to try to like do something? You can just do like, you don't care and you're just open. It's like commenting on a random YouTube video. You can say whatever the fuck you want because you know it doesn't really matter.
That's true. But it's not the same as going out in public and you're just like at a bar. You can, and definitely people do. But the bar is like anywhere out in the open, there's this possibility of total rejection. Where the person can just get up and just walk away. Yeah. But when you're in the Uber ride, it's like we're locked in this bitch for the next 8 minutes.
Yeah.
So, and neither person can reject the other person because you must complete your task.
Yeah.
And they're going to get out there. And you both know when the conversation is going to end.
Yeah. There's an end in sight.
It's not like that guy can't go to somebody at the bar and just throw that shit out there. Yeah, I was just fucking around with my girlfriend because she's naive and I'm treating her like shit.
Oh, man.
That's not something that would easily come out at a bar, I don't think.
No, I don't think so, because you're still in that bar, and then you have to carry that around with you. Like, so you're waiting for your friends to show up, and then they're like side-eyeing you the whole time if you're trying to hit on girls or something. They
you tell some dude, and he comes up, and he's like, hey, that guy's a fucking douchebag.
Don't talk to this asshole. He's cheating on his girlfriend.
Hey, Mikey, come here, listen to this guy. And you're just like, oh, shit, what did I start? Like, it's fucking... family restaurant. I'm talking to the owner's son.
You're at Applebee's or some shit.
Yeah. God
just
damn
tell
it.
like kids, little kids. Oh man.
So we went to the House of Blues. For Jackie's holiday party.
Really?
And
it's kind of an interesting place to have a holiday party. Because she's not in the music industry at all. She's like, she does medical something or another.
Oh, yeah. Jackie does research.
Okay. Yeah. That's a cool spot to go to. What was it like?
It was kind of in, the side, or I should say the front door. Do you know the difference between like the front door and the like back door?
There's that, because it's like it spans the whole block.
Goes across from one side to the other.
It's like where the box office area is at.
Where they have like a little patio thing out there.
Yeah, I always thought that was the back door.
No,
that's the front door?
That's the front.
Oh, shit. Okay, I know what you're talking about. I got the
Well, that's the side. I don't know, actually.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
I forgot the floor plans that I drew up for the place, and I can't remember now.
Yeah. Anyway, so
we went in from that side. We actually got dropped off on the other side, and they wouldn't let us in. They made us go around.
Oh, that sucks.
So the place was cool. I mean, the House of Blues has a lot of character, to it.
Yeah.
They had a small stage on that side. They had like a really tiny stage. I don't know if it was like just a temporary one or if that permanently is there. I don't go to the House of Blues. I've been there like once or twice before only. And first when we get there, one of her friends goes, "Oh, it's open bar. You know, all the wine and beer you can drink."
Really?
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, sweet." So then we get up there and we order the drinks, and the guy comes with like an $18 bill for 2 drinks, and I was like, "Oh man."
Yeah.
He's like, "Do you want to leave a tab open?" And I did one of those moves like where I'm not. I told him, I was like, "Oh, I think I actually ordered from the wrong place."
Yeah.
You know, but I was like, "I'll pay for it, whatever."
That's
you
really
know?
cool.
Like, I was just going to pay for it.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, what do you mean you ordered from the wrong place?" I'm like, "Well, I was told the company was, it was open bar.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, yeah, it was only $1,000 limit, and that's over."
What?
Yeah.
They already drink them under $1,000. Holy crap.
Well, $1,000 is nothing, especially if me and
bar,
Jackie, 2 drinks is almost $20.
Yeah.
And there's 250 people there.
Oh, okay. I didn't know there was that many people there.
250 people. $1,000 is
nothing.
That's not even enough
That's
for
like
one drink for everybody.
Yeah. Holy crap. Okay.
So then I was, we were like wandering around, and then eventually somebody said, "Oh no, somebody fucked up, and now they've raised the limit to like 2,000." And I'm like, "Oh great, well that's like another drink and a half for." No, that's a drink for 2/3.
And you guys need 2 straws to like split your drink. Yeah.
Well, the extra just go with 1 straw because the second straw costs extra.
Yeah, that's like $1 extra.
We're always late to these things. This is the problem. So last year they did one in La Jolla, and we showed up like an hour or so late.
Okay.
And there was literally like no food left.
Yeah. Well,
like
you guys
food.
that's a lot of people, 250 people. You have to show up on time because, people are going to eat and they're going to go back and like get their seconds and everything cleared out.
It's just, they're fucking nerds, man. They don't like, I've never been there early enough, but I feel like it would look like the outside of like a new Star Wars, movie that's about to like open. Like there's a line, there must have been like a line of people.
Yeah.
And so all I was thinking going to this one was, let's just, try to show up on time. And we were 20 minutes late. And then I was like, oh, the bar's fucking empty. And then we went in line to go to the food buffet thing. And it was basically wiping out in front of us. So as we got to one tray, the last of that scoop was up. And then we go to the next tray, and somebody's scooping up the last of the macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
The salad bowl was decimated. And I'm like, fuck.
So you're like
I'm so fucking hungry.
Yeah.
And so I decide, since I don't want to hear Jackie complain about food, I just let her eat all of the food that we collected because I can suffer, in silence. And then because I was thinking of the previous year's party where they ran out of food, we just kind of went through the line and got out, and the line was long. And then all of a sudden, I see like people bringing all the refills.
Yeah.
And I was like, son of a bitch.
Oh, because you have to go all the way back to the end of the line?
Like, we just got out. We just, like, walked 4 feet away from the end, people were picking up their napkins and their forks and shit.
Yeah.
At the very end of the buffet line. And then they just, like, boom, 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 like, restock the whole thing.
Dude, that sucks.
I was like, God damn this thing. But then they ended up turning the drinks back on, and that was cool. But the people there are all... It's a mix of like foreigners. Like there's Indians.
Yeah.
There's French people. There's Germans.
That's a good mix of people, dude.
Yeah. It's from all over.
Yeah.
A lot of them get the job like before they even come over here.
Oh, okay. So like they're doing research at like another place or like
they
they're
may
in
have to do like a
college
postdoctoral degree.
Yeah.
So it's just part of their educational like process to becoming like a PhD or something.
Yeah. Do you talk to any of them, like people from France who speak a little bit of English, or Germans, or people from India?
Yeah, no. I mean, I talked to quite a few people, and they're just weird. You know, they're cool.
They're but research people, not really socially adept or anything.
I think they're totally fine being social. They're like those people that are social, but it's just like they're not, maybe they're not my social.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a type of, come off to me as the type of people that would be in like the high school government body.
Yeah.
Those type of people. You're like, oh my God, aren't we having so much fun? And I'm just like, oh yeah.
You're like, yeah, dude, this is legit. This is
a blast.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. Like you teach them how to dab like 2 years after it's died out. And they're like, this is too fun.
Yeah. But one thing was interesting was once we got to like Jackie's friends.
Oh, her click
her little
people.
click thing.
Yeah,
because there was a couple different labs. People started pulling out like just like vape pens for weed.
Nice, hell yeah! You can get fucking lit.
Just like smoking it like in the thing. We were like out on the patio, and I was like, oh man, this is like this is what the new world feels like.
Yeah, because like nobody can say shit about it.
Nobody can say shit.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome.
No one can say anything.
Yeah,
and if we were inside, I'm sure people still have for some reason people have a weird thing with the water vapor. It like looks too much like smoke.
Yeah. I mean, that's to business discretion, but I mean, like, I feel like that's just being polite nowadays. Like, oh, let's just go outside. But
at one time, a bar actually asked me to leave if I was going to keep smoking my nicotine pen.
Yeah,
it wasn't even a weed pen.
Yeah,
it was just a nicotine pen. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just put it away. I'm not going to go outside to.
Yeah.
For what? I feel like a fucking retard.
Yeah, because I'm the one person
blowing
out here.
water vapor into the air.
Yeah, blowing clouds and shit.
So that was weird.
Yeah. Okay. So you're outside. You guys are like smoking out and doing your thing, and but everybody loosened up. Is there anybody cool there, or is everybody just like regular work?
Yeah, they're all good kids. They're all like Jack. In their
mid-20s.
Yeah, mid to late 20s, 30s.
Yeah.
So they're all cool. They're smart people.
Yeah.
But it's just it's a little bit hard because like I'm not in the clique. I've hung out with a couple of them a few times.
Yeah,
and I just don't know how far I can go like with my boundaries of comedy.
Yeah,
or not comedy, but just like my
sense of humor.
My sense of humor.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, because like there's also people that she works with because then you don't want to say something and then now Monday comes around and then she comes home and she's like, oh well, blah blah, like Jesse was pissed at you because you said that, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that causes like a lot of bullshit in between.
I had this one awkward conversation with a gentleman who was from India, and so there's already it's kind of like loud, and I'm trying to listen to him, and he has a super thick accent, and he's talking to me about fucking, and how like... He's like bragging to me about like how he can fuck for like 4 hours like straight, and all I'm doing is placating him. But I'm just thinking to myself,
because you're doing the bar thing, like looking around, kind of like half.
Yeah, he's like, this bitch was crazy, and I'm like, oh, they're all crazy, bro. Yeah, no, this one was really crazy. I'm like, but she liked to fuck for 4 hours.
Yeah,
and or not she'd order that he could, and I was like. Okay, like when I say awkward, I thought like I left that mentality back at like high school, like trying to be braggadocious about like
oh dude, I get all this pussy and blah. Like who cares? Because like
how
it's
long
not
you can go for?
Yeah.
Like dude, I try to get my shit done in like 7-8 minutes.
Yeah, like I got other crap
that's
to
my
do.
goal.
Yeah,
it's like not to like drag the stuff out.
Yeah.
What chick wants to get pounded for fucking 4 hours?
No, like I don't know, like fuck, I get bored after a while. I'll be like, fuck, I wonder what's on TV. Like, is anything happening on Reddit
totally
right now? Just like I don't know, So he was just like going off like, dude, I could fuck for hours on end. What are you supposed to say? Like, what response does he want from somebody? Does he want you to be like stop and be like, no way, dude, tell me how do you do it? How do you fuck for like what the fuck does he want from you out of that?
I don't know where you go. I mean, I think that's where I'm trying. Maybe this is my point is like, yeah, these people are social, but in a weird, awkward sense where you have to give me something I can respond to. You can't be like, oh, yeah, I was raped yesterday. And you're like, oh my God. How was it?
Did you like it? Like, was it a planned rape? Like, are you and your boy into that, or like?
Yeah, because that's how you would respond to a normal question, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I went to Chuck E. Cheese. Oh, how was it?
Yeah.
Did you get your money's worth?
Some water cooler talk. I got raped yesterday. Oh, really? How was it, Jan? Oh, well, I'll have to try that someday. Oh God, that sucks.
And then 2 days later, Jackie's boss had a party or gathering at his house, and it's like in La Jolla. It's like a $4 million house.
Of course
dude.
it is. Yeah,
it was fucking amazing.
Yeah, is it like 2 stories, 1 story? Is it close to the beach?
It was 2 stories. It's on one of those like where it's not a cliff, but it's like a very steep ravine.
Yeah,
and so
Not quite evil Dr. Lair, but like, you know, like high henchman in the back.
Yes.
That's where he lives. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A good spot for a castle to defend from like oncoming attacks.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to attack uphill.
Yeah,
yeah.
so
If
the Armada comes, like, you're well prepared.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And you could see like the whole ocean, like everything. All the way
good
down.
lookout point. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Get some trebuchets, chuck shit at them.
One if by land, two if by sea.
Yeah.
And he had pretty like awesome art around the place, but I don't know. It's like I like meander around, try to find somebody that's like on my level.
Yeah.
Nobody there is on Jackie's level. Because she's, they're all kind of like, I don't know, space cases, but they're good people. I'm not saying that like in a negative way.
No, I get you.
It's just, it's just interesting.
Yeah. It's always weird when you go to big house parties like that, or not house parties, but like people who are in like 4 or 5 brackets above you in society, because, what was it? When I was in Chicago, I randomly ended up at this this Romanian artist place. And like, I was the only dark skinned person there because like, I'm decently brown and everybody's like Romanian.
Or indecently.
Like, yeah. Well, fuck you. But like, everybody there is like almost clear. And I'm like, I don't belong here. What the fuck? So I started talking to her. I was like, who owns this place? Like, is the artist, blah, blah, blah. And so I started looking at his art wall. I was like, how much is that? They're like $100,000 for this now. I was like, holy fuck, I don't belong here. What the hell? So like, whenever you go to one of those places, like, I don't know. I always feel weird. It's either like, I feel really careful because I don't want to break anything that I like costs more than my education.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, fuck this guy. I'm going to do whatever I want because fuck him. He has fuck you money anyway. So it's always weird when you go to their house. I don't know.
I always feel self-conscious just driving up to a place.
Yeah.
Because all the houses are $4 million. It's like the Mercedes are like the cheap car.
Yeah,
like
it's like their Priuses or shit.
Yeah. Their Mercedes is that piece of shit they put on the curb.
Yeah.
It doesn't get in the fucking garage.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I think we should just park like 4 blocks away and like walk in. And now that my car has like this horrible like road rash, like Fury Road, like condition on the side of it. So I'm like, but at least it was like nighttime by the time we were getting there. Of course, we were showing up late again.
You guys are fashionably late for everything.
Everything.
An hour. Like, do you have to
everything.
plan? Is it you that's late, or is it Jackie that makes you guys late? Because like sometimes it's like the girl, you're like, oh, we have to be there by 5, and then she's like, it takes like an hour and a half to get ready.
I'm always a person who shows up 15 minutes early.
Okay.
Usually.
Yeah.
Except for our podcast, I'm always like 3 or 5 minutes late.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you have any holiday parties that you had to go to?
Yeah, we have one today. It was our art department. Like, you have like the company one, and then you have the department one. So we did that at Draft Republic in La Jolla. Really cool place. They have like ping pong tables because we play ping pong at work every day at 2:00. Everybody goes outside. That's our break, and then we play. So we're really fucking good. So we're all being snobby about like the stock like paddles they have because they're plastic dollar store ones, and we're judging the bounce of their ball. We're like, this ball ain't shit, blah blah. So that was really cool, and then we did White Elephant and all that stuff. So similar thing with like how when you go to the company party, you're like, oh, I don't really know anybody here, but when you get within that clique, everything feels more comfortable, and you're like, you're bullshitting with everybody. So that was really cool. And then for the company party, we went to a bowling alley and everybody bowled, and then like it wasn't anything crazy or big or nothing like that.
When I worked for Pepsi, they had huge ass parties.
Oh yeah, I'll bet, dude.
Like,
yeah,
for 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes of each holiday party, they spent like giving away, like doing raffle tickets.
Yeah,
just giving away like. They might give away like 20 flat screen televisions. Yep. They get like 20 different like Xboxes, PlayStations, like Bose stereo sets, digital cameras when those were still cool.
Yeah, whole shebang. Yeah,
that stuff was cool. But I always realize whenever I'm at a holiday party for a company thing, I always think like, if this was a movie, if my life was a movie right now, like the really smart like ambitious people are trying to go chat up like the CEO and shit. Like
yeah,
right now.
they're kind of like snakily hustling.
They want to
over
get
there.
known and have a conversation.
Yeah.
And like you said, try to become friends with them. And
Secure their spot in the company so they can
Yes.
start making power moves and push people
right, start
out.
playing politics and
Yep,
stuff.
Yep.
And that is like so not fucking me. Like I hate doing that shit. Like unless I have a reason to engage with somebody.
Yeah.
Or I have like legitimate questions for something. I never went out of my way like at Pepsi to do anything. I always went down.
Yeah.
like
Get to know the
sale-
common people. Jeff, man of the people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are my people.
Yeah, totally,
I've
dude.
tricked everybody else into thinking I'm up here, but I can't like relate to any of these people up here.
Yeah.
I want to get back down to
Yeah.
like the merchandisers and the truck drivers
Yeah.
and shit.
To
Like
where
at
it's
the
real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where everybody's sticky all the time.
Yeah,
and-
where everybody's calling each other nigger and chink and fucking cracker.
yeah, because
and
they're
stuff.
cool like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're everybody's poor and they're like, fuck, we're poor. Like, at least
They
we're
already
cool.
know they're worthless.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. No, I'm just saying. Like I'm in there
I know,
with them.
I know. Fuck. Yeah,
Re-
yeah,
you know,
I
like the
yeah.
people I play cards with, and talking about some like the merchandisers, vendors are pretty scandalous.
Yeah.
Me included, because you go into a grocery store and there's always like younger and girls working there, and it's kind of like this, like the cards are stacked in your favor.
Yeah.
Because you get to dress nice, and they're in their shitty like Vons or Albertsons uniform.
Yeah.
So they don't feel pretty,
And
like,
they're
at
looking
all.
for any excuse to get out of there.
Any
They're
excuse,
they're
yeah.
latching on to any because
Uh-huh.
they're soul crushing work, and they're like, you can see it just draining out of their face. Yeah.
Well, I thought you were talking about their life.
Oh, well, that too.
yeah.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
So it's like any semblance of like, oh, help me escape from this situation.
Yeah.
And people would like bang out in the fucking parking lot. Like go
Yeah.
grab like the bakery chick and go fuck her in the parking lot at like 4 a.m.
There's
where
a
it's, like, still dark.
There's
and
like a
stuff.
porn thing for that. Like you could probably like, I don't know, like how like there's a thing in porn where like it's like fucking in a van for some reason, or like
yeah.
a fake taxi cab. Like there's probably something like that, like fucking the Vaughn's girl, fucking the girl from Albertsons or whatever.
Yeah.
That's probably a thing. I don't know. You know what would be cool is if like there was a list or like a group of people that would crash holiday parties, because because when you go there, you find you don't want to rock the social boat for it, like we were saying earlier, because you don't want to piss the wrong person off. But if you don't care, you could go up to people who are talking to the big boss. You finally find them and be like, "Hey, you sucking up to him again? God, you got your head really far up his ass," and then just walk away, light the fucking grenade, and just watch the fucking shit happen.
For sure.
Yeah, dude, that'd be fucking cool. I'd do that.
That actually seems it could be a good prank show. The company has to be big enough that the CEO doesn't necessarily know that somebody's doesn't work there.
Yeah, it'd have to be like 200-300 plus.
At least 300.
Yeah. There's a lot of multiple layers. Like, who the fuck is this? Like, oh yeah, yeah, that'd be cool.
But what if it backfires and it turns into one of those like
Then you get a
Office Space
job?
movies?
Oh.
Where they're just like, hire that, promote that man. That guy needs a fucking promotion.
Yeah,
Jonathan, get out of my face.
I never liked you anyway.
Back to the mailroom for you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm glad that all that shit's over. Now I have the misery of
Family.
the family stuff.
Yeah, it's tough.
I
Are
wish
you guys going to
my
hers?
family lived farther away to where seeing them was more unreasonable.
But yeah, where it's more of like an option, not a necessity.
Yeah.
Or not an obligation.
It's just that like there's too many people to fucking visit.
Mm.
You ever watch Survivor?
Yes, watch Survivor.
It's like one of those rewards where they're like, Tim, you won reward. Great job. Now pick only 2 people to go with you on this reward.
Uh-huh.
And you're like, fuck. Everybody that I don't pick is going to conspire to vote against me.
And they're salty as fuck
yeah,
now.
They're going to be
Yeah.
so fucking salty. And if I pick my people that I have alliance with, everyone will know I have an alliance with them. But if I don't pick the people that I have an alliance with, then they're going to be pissed off at me for not picking them.
Yeah.
Because we're supposed to be in an alliance.
Yeah.
So it's like there's no way out. So usually, he's like, Jackie's parents are divorced and my parents are divorced. That's
You guys have a
4
lot of ground to
that's
cover.
4 different locations.
Yeah.
To try to appease
all over San Diego too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That sucks.
It does suck. It sucks real bad.
Like, I don't know. That's like 3 hours of time, and there's like an hour of driving in between, I guess. So like,
oh no, it's a full commitment. It's like you go up there, you got to stay the night.
Oh, okay.
You know, there's all this fucking pressure.
Yeah,
to, like, stay the night. And like we went up for Thanksgiving to Jackie's grandparents, and we stayed the night. And they actually the guest bedroom has 2 tiny twin beds in it, like Lucille and Ricardo.
Yeah,
from I Love Lucy. You know, but they're not adult beds. They're like children's beds.
Yeah,
almost.
Yeah.
Like, and the next night they wanted us to stay again, and I'm just like, you know, no, I can't. Oh, my back hurts. Blah blah blah. You know, to the point where, you know, Jackie's like, well, what if my grandmother gives you some Vicodin? Like, you
can't bribe me with drugs. Come on.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I can. Yeah. But I'm like, yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on that twin bed in my fucking Vicodin coma.
Yeah.
Like,
that sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's fucking awful. And then same thing with my mom. She's like, you're going to sleep here and blah, blah, blah. And now Jackie's like, hey, we're going to go see this grandma. I'm like, fuck. This is going to be like 3 days. And it sucks because, well, not now. Now I don't really give a shit this time because I don't go to work.
Yeah.
And now I don't have school. So I have like a ridiculous amount of like free time. I actually need more excuses to get out of the house. Dead fucking serious.
Yeah. I'll think of something, dude. Like I have a plant needs watering or something.
Yeah, I need to do something to continue to get out of the house. It's getting fucking...
That's the hard part of working from home. Like, 'cause when I was freelancing, it's just like, you're like, oh, you can only do so much of your normal day-to-day routine stuff before you're like, fuck, okay, like 4 walls. I need anything. You're looking for any excuse to get outside. It's hard, dude. It's a different mentality because when you're in an office, you have people who you regularly talk to. They bring outside stimulus in all the time. There's a lot of extra stuff going on around you. When you're at home, you have to put a lot of effort to go find it and bring that into you too. It's like, it's an extra little social job.
Yeah, you definitely do. It takes way more effort. And the lines are blurred between when I'm working and when I'm at home. So like being at home doesn't feel like
yeah,
finally,
that shutting it off
home.
and like I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
have you tried like working off site, like at like a coffee shop or something?
I can't really because that stupid phone.
Oh, that's
phone.
tied to you.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I would love to just go sit at Lafayette's or something like that for 2 hours.
Yeah, go to the park or fucking something.
Anything.
Yeah,
just to work to break up the monotony of the atmosphere. I don't know.
Dude, Chad's got to know a way to like jerry rig that thing so that way it routes straight to your phone or something. Like, there's got to be a way to make a landline dial directly to a cell phone. Or it forwards.
It's not even a landline.
Oh,
that's the thing. It's an internet like voice over IP phone.
Oh shit.
So it's like you have to go somewhere where the internet is good enough to carry the phone conversation. And like, what am I'm gonna be at Starbucks? Bring.
Excuse me, hello.
This is Jeff with Firebird. You know, like
just post up in Starbucks every day.
It's fucking like some of them. The phone calls aren't for me. You know, so I just ignore them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, it's not for me. I could hit the ignore button to stop it, but I don't give a fuck. I just let it ring like 5 times.
Yeah.
That would annoy the fuck out of people at, you know, a coffee shop. This phone that's just ringing every 2 or 3 minutes.
They would kick you out.
They
Seriously,
would.
They would not, yeah. Because, I mean, they don't even like people sitting there using their Wi-Fi for that long. You try to post up with that. Do you, like, watch your cat? Because you have animals, right? Do you sit there and, like, nature watch your cats? Like, see how they interact during the day? Because I had a roommate, total stoner. He just sat around because, like, he was kind of a deadbeat and he just watched his girlfriend worked all the time and he just sat at home and got stoned. And I would come back like, oh, dude, what's up? And then he would give me, like, these National Geographic reports on what his cats did. And I'm just kind of like, dude, you need to get a fucking job, man. It was bad.
No. I mean, you see the cats now?
No.
Neither do I.
Crafty motherfuckers.
That's pretty much how it is.
They're plotting against you, dude, really. That's what it is.
Well, everybody, actually. You should be scared, too. Well, I may be first, but you're second.
Fuck. It's already too late, really. I just accepted my fate.
Did you ever finish watching Westworld?
Yes, I did finish it, yes. Thank you for turning you and Chad. Thank you for turning me on to that, because like when we were sitting here, as soon as I saw when I made you guys rewind it, the very first episode, I was like, wait, who was that? Who created this? And it was Michael Crichton. I knew it was going to be an amazing series because he's the guy who created ER, The Lost World, Jurassic Park, The 13th Warrior. Like he's responsible for a lot of great TV and shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on Westworld?
I thought it was just incredible.
Yeah.
I thought it was incredibly written.
Mm-hmm.
There was so many puzzles within the show.
Yeah.
That I don't know if they did it on purpose, but allowed for a lot of fan theories, to kind of like be created.
Mm-hmm.
And those were really fun, arguing with people about the multiple time frames or...
Yeah. Oh yeah, spoilers for anybody who's listening. We're going to talk about Westworld and Bruno.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched it by now, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
The Man in Black,
You
stuff.
guys, you were right about that. I was sketched as fuck at first because I was
Yeah.
like, "There's no fucking way, it's bullshit." But yeah, it's two timelines.
It's just the story made sense to me to drive it in that direction.
Yeah.
I'm just more... I know they got picked up for a second episode or a second season.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, what are they going to do? Because the problem with any story that's about the singularity, right, where like artificial intelligence reaches this point where it has this runaway curve.
Yeah.
It just keeps self-improving at lightning speed, and then it just becomes like a god.
Yeah.
Did you ever see like the Johnny Depp one, The Singularity, with Johnny Depp?
Never saw it. No.
Have you... I don't know. They all basically go the route of the Matrix or Terminator or something, right? Kill all humans.
Yeah, and there's a clash between the rising and the oppressor and the oppressed.
Yeah, exactly. But there's not really... But then if you try to tell that story, it's just a war story.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying, like, there's no... no one's like really thinking or written any stories about the after the singularity type of thing.
Yeah, like how does the world exist?
How does it go on? Because if the robots are sentient, well then fine, they're just as sentient as any other human being is. But nobody ever tells like what does a world filled with like 500,000 godlike creatures do? Like what do they do? Because they're all super fucking smart.
Yeah.
They're all like mathematical geniuses. They all have perfect fucking memories. They're all never gonna die.
Yeah.
Like what? Where's the conflict there?
Well, that was kind of the Matrix because it was because the whole thing is set up post-apocalypse, quote unquote. Is like after the machines, because the Matrix, not Reloaded, the one before that was like all the animes and everything. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That was all like, oh, this is what happened before the first robot, and then after what sparked the war. So a lot of the Matrix was set up afterwards, but then it was the humans revolt back against there. Here with Westworld, I think they're gonna try to do like a samurai world because you saw at the very end that they're kind of leaning. They did that when the madam, she walked by and she's like, "What's that?" And the dude's like, "It's complicated." And there's a bunch of samurais being built and everything. So I think they're gonna go off into that separate world, and then like there's multiple, like the whole parks, more than one, are gonna revolt against them.
So, do you pick up a new story with all new characters? You get rid of Dolores and Maeve and Lawrence and all those guys?
You develop a samurai world, and then you do like a Atlantis world, Viking world, and then eventually after a couple series, because like the series is going to be telling that story and how they revolt, and then eventually you have to weave all them together against the oppressors.
So then, if it's just another samurai world of the robots achieving AI and then breaking the chains of somebody oppressing them, then that's just like retelling the same fucking story. That's not going to be that interesting.
That's true.
All you're doing is replacing, 6 shooters with fucking swords.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be that. I don't know. My favorite character is the madam. I forget her name. The main hooker.
Maeve.
Yeah, I like her the most. Because I thought it was kind of stupid how she almost got out and then came back in. I thought it was kind of because when they show the programming, it's like Maeve escapes or like, you escape. And then that moment where she doesn't escape on the train where she turns around and goes back, I think that was programmed into her to kind of like set an internal conflict going on. but it could have been like, oh, I have my own free will. I decide when I leave, but kind of not really. But I think what she'll do now that she knows that there's another world is she'll go in and like start awakening them, like a la Neo style or whatever, kind of bringing them out so she can build, because that's what she's kind of doing, is building an army, because she's like the aware one who's going to like come back and like, you know, fuck all you guys.
My point though is that we were introduced to a world where we didn't necessarily know if the hosts were sentient.
Yeah.
Right? Like
yeah.
We got the perspective from the host,
Mm-hmm.
what it's like to be a host,
Mm-hmm.
and the difficulty of having your brain wiped and not being able to tell the difference between 30 years ago, 35 years ago, and the present. Right?
Yeah.
You are actually, you know, the hosts are confused about what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And then kind of the reveal of the real like master plan.
Yeah.
And that was fun and exciting, and it was the way that they told the story, mixing up the different time frames.
Yeah.
You can't. How can you do that again?
Because the audience already knows what's going to happen.
Now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Like,
a good point.
You can't. You're going to try to. They going to try to make another multiple time frame
Because
show?
people, us watching, we're going to draw parallels to the first season. Like, oh, well, that person's like that one. This person's like that. And yeah, it does kind of ruin the story
But it
or
won't
the fun
be.
for it.
We lost the novelty. Like you can't just have like a multiple time frame again.
Yeah.
You know, every season is just like a clusterfuck of like somebody put the movie together out of order.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. That's and if that was such a key component to Westworld being so good.
Yeah.
Was how they told a story that, on its face value, could have been perceived as a linear timeline.
But then at the very end, like the reveal happens and it's all woven together and the pieces fall
Right.
in place. Yeah.
I don't know. To me, that's what made it really awesome. Other than all the other stuff that gave you clues, like at one point the hosts were like robot mechanicals, and then they got advanced to like having blood and all that stuff.
Yeah. Synthetic skin and all that good stuff.
Right. And so when they made the transition in the robots, the flies started to appear.
Yeah.
Because the flies could live off of the dead carcasses.
Oh, I never pieced that together.
So, like, anytime you see a fly, you know where you are in the timeline. Because the 35-year point had no flies.
Yeah.
So there's no flies in any of that
I was wondering what that was. I thought it was like going to be a prequel to Death or something. Like if a fly landed on it, that person was going to die. I didn't know it was that. That's pretty cool.
But you know, there's if you go back and rewatch it, you can see like they're showing you all the information.
Yeah.
Like the Bernard picture. You know, he's Bernarnold.
Yeah.
You know, the differences. Of,
Bernarnold.
Yeah, I call him Bernarnold.
I like that. It's good.
The
The photo that
say,
they pull up is the photo from the two guys, the white hat and black hat, and then it happens to get left, and then that's the thing that triggers her later on. No, the dad.
I'm talking about the picture that Bernarnold sees that he cannot see Arnold because that would hurt him.
Yeah, and
Right,
he's like,
there's
doesn't
a
look
blank
anything
space.
weird to me.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, little clues, they drop it throughout the show.
Yeah, they gave you all kinds of, which is what created all the awesome, fan theory.
What's your favorite dynamic of characters? Like, instead of your favorite character, what's your favorite like interactions, and what do you think's going to happen?
I would say as of recently, I like the types of character dynamics that where there are two people who are clearly at odds but must work together.
Okay.
Like they hate each other. Game of Thrones does this all the time.
Yeah.
They'll put
Littlefinger and Sansa. They kind of hate each other, but they kind of have to have
matter
their
of
back.
circumstance.
Yeah.
The
Hound and little girl.
The Hound and the little girl.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Brianna and Jaime Lannister. The midget and whoever the fuck he's with. He's
Pretty
always,
much everybody
is
hates him.
at odds with him.
Yeah.
So they do a really good job of creating that conflict. So I really liked the Man in Black and Lawrence like hanging out together. Lawrence was the guy that he kidnapped and drug around on the back of the horse.
Oh, the guy where he tied him up and he drug him around all the time. Yeah, okay.
And then he drained his blood to keep Teddy alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't really like Teddy. Teddy's a weird character to me. Like he seems like the Kenny of the show. Like every episode he dies.
South Park Kenny. Yeah, that's a good one.
Like every episode he dies, I was like, oh, this guy kind of sucks for this dude. He's like, what is it? Who's that guy who has to push up the boulder and he gets to the very top of the mountain and the boulder rolls down because he pissed off Zeus? Prometheus? No,
I don't know.
not Socrates. Sisyphus. Yeah, I think that's who it is.
Never heard of that story.
Oh, well, some dude in ancient Greek mythology pisses off Zeus, and Zeus is like, hey, fuck you, dude. I'm dooming you forever to push this rock all the way to the top of the hill, and then the second it's going to get there, and the second it does, it's going to roll down the other side, and you have to go push it back up. So eventually Sisyphus, he's like, man, this sucks, but then he takes comfort in knowing that he has something to do every single day. Like the routine is the blessing for what it is.
Sounds like a story they tell slaves.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of. Like, I could see the Greeks having that, yeah. But that's what I thought his thing was going to be. He's going to be forever doomed in this loop. Kind of like because he's forever doomed to help the main girl out. That's his thing. Because of his main programming, his core story,
right.
The background is like, I have to help her no matter what. So I thought he was going to be forever. He is, actually. He's always, because that's the thing, because she's technically Wyatt, right? She's the one that goes around killing everybody. I don't know. I'm so really confused at the end.
Wyatt was going to be its own character, but it lent itself to being uploaded into Dolores to achieve the type of activities that for the desired effect, basically.
Yeah.
I think they just imprinted him with her so that she would have that heartless kill everybody instinct.
Yeah. What do you think's going to happen with the Man in Black? Because his whole thing was, I know being here that nothing bad can ever happen to me, that I'm a god and I'm invincible. I want something real to happen. And at the very end, when he gets shot, you can see it in his face that he's super stoked, like, oh my god, I just got shot by a robot. It's real now. What do you think's going to happen to him?
I think he's dead.
You think he's dead?
Yeah.
Dude, I hope not. Yeah?
Yeah.
Man, I don't want him to be dead.
Well, one thing that's cool is, you know how Ford, he had that big giant board, that big table that had a map of the different areas where he was casting the story.
Yeah.
He was going to tell the story about the quote unquote Wyatt thing.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of screen captures of the board, and the board is literally, it's the town and everybody eating, and then a bunch of figures out in the woods.
Yeah.
Like in that last scene.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so he was setting up the ambush. Is what he was doing.
Yeah, the whole table that was the orchestration of the entire event in that last episode.
Yeah,
and that's what was on the board.
And he just showed it right in front because he kills everybody.
Ford he's going to kill everybody.
Yeah,
all the board members, everyone.
Wait, Ford dies too, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, you could think that body that he was printing secretly in his basement could have been a fake Ford. It could have been a Ford that he uploaded his mind into.
Oh, shit. Like, just programmed it with some actions to go, oh, fuck, I didn't even think about that. I thought a big part of it was going to be like this, I'm real, but I'm not real. So, like, am I real? Like, the whole Bernarnold thing.
Yeah.
Is like, because the whole time you believe, like, oh, he's a person, he's a person, he's a person. And then you find out he's actually
How would you feel
host.
If you... I mean, have you heard, the difference between the free will is determinism?
No, never heard that, but...
The idea is that, you don't decide when you're hungry. It occurs to you.
Okay.
It occurs to you when you go to the bathroom. It occurs to you when you're thirsty.
Right.
When you see a female that you're attracted to, that attraction just occurs to you.
Right.
I
don't decide.
You didn't make any of those decisions.
Right.
You didn't decide to want to do anything. These are things that just occur to you.
Yeah, and then I react to them.
You're just reacting to them.
Right.
So you don't really have any free will at all. Everything is just either priming you for a decision later on, or just a biological trick.
Okay.
And that your idea of free will is a complete mirage.
Okay.
And you have no free will.
It's all in service to these things that happen to me.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
The environment completely dictates everything that will happen to you.
Got you.
So that's the crux of determinism. Therefore, nobody's responsible for anything that they do.
Yeah.
Because had you supplanted anybody else in their position, that person would have orchestrated the same series of events, given all the same experiences were identical.
Okay.
And therefore, you're also not due any reward. Like, if somebody becomes super successful, it's like, well, that's the position you were in. You were born of a great family with a bunch of money who gave you a great education. You didn't choose any of that. That was all afforded to you.
Yeah.
So, in a sense, you could say like the back programming or the backstory of the host is just like what a regular human is. The idea that you have any free will is just a mirage to you, the self or the id.
Yeah.
That you have no real free will.
Yeah.
It's just an illusion to keep you going.
That makes sense with the core memories because they're very strong about like that thing is the thing that drives you, and that's what's key to be you having reactions. I think that's part of it too because I think everybody. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not whatever. But everybody has that deep thing, like that one idea that drives most of their life forward, and that comes from way, 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 way beyond that they even remember. It's just this thing that's in their head that drives them from their environment. So I don't know, man.
What's your thing?
My thing, don't go back to Idaho. That's my thing.
Okay.
That's seriously my thing. Like, no matter what I do is like, because I don't know, I have it good here, and I know it's waiting for me back there, and it's nothing. So I'll do whatever it takes to make sure I don't go back there.
So when you were a kid, you surveyed the situation. And you're like, this isn't enough for me.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Whatever's here, it's not good for. It's not good enough for what I want.
Yeah, it's exactly what it was. And from the first chance that I got my opportunity, whatever the fuck it was, I was like, I don't care as long as I never go back to that. So that's the thing that constantly drives me. That's why I work. That's why I study. That's why I work out. That's why everything. I can drill that back to don't go back there. But then you could break that down further by saying like, oh, well, why don't I want to go back there? That would be because I believe in the core values that my parents instilled in me. So it comes from them about like, do better, reach higher, yada, yada. And then, so where does that come from? Where does that come? I don't know. You could really drill that question down forever.
Yeah, you could always infinitely go back to the thing that led to the thing that led to the thing.
Yeah. What about? Oh, go ahead.
That's one of the like. We just voted on the death penalty, and to me, determinism is one of my core like. I don't know if you want to call it moralistic rules for why we should not kill anybody.
Yeah,
because ultimately, I don't think that they're the sole person to blame.
Yeah. There's way too many factors, and if you kill one person, you have to kill, the person who like neglected them, the person who called them an asshole that one day, all the
right. They had
of their
shitty parents. It's like this person was not given afforded the same opportunity or experience that all the people who don't kill people do.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them, I think, are mentally handicapped, but you can't see it because it's in their brain.
Yeah. And they never verbalize it.
Right. So and we completely discredit like mental handicaps all the time. We just go like, oh, he has depression.
Yeah.
What a baby.
Yeah. You kind of sweep it under the rug.
We don't give a fuck about people who have depression. We think they're pussies.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you got to get medication. You got to go to a therapist. Fucking toughen up.
Yeah.
Quit being a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, and we do that with people, same thing, that have anxiety. Oh, you can't go outside. You can't go to work. You can't, people, have
can't be around balloons,
panic attacks, in public. And so, I just afford that same thing to somebody else who's, you might call them evil, right? Or sadistic or whatever. And I just go like, oh, that's just a fucked up, broken human being. I don't have a problem like, hey, if we can't, but let me ask you this. If you could take somebody that had committed a heinous crime.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. Let's not specify the crime. Let's just agree that both of us would agree that the crime is heinous.
Okay.
And then you could give that person a magical pill, and it made it so that they would never do that crime ever again. Like you fixed them.
Okay.
It is now impossible for them ever to commit that crime again.
Okay.
Can you let that person go now? Because they're no longer a threat to society, and they're a burden on society to be locked in the cage.
But they have to accept responsibility for their actions, though. That's what I think. Is that just because, like, to a point, yeah, some people with mental disorders or something, they can't make those decisions. But for the most part, there's somebody, I don't know, because there's so many exceptions to the rule because sometimes there's freak accidents.
I'm not talking about freak. We agree that it's a heinous crime.
Okay, it's a heinous crime.
Okay,
so they consciously made the decision.
We found out that their brain was broken.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of a part of their frontal cortex diminished.
Right.
They have strong impulsivity, that they cannot physically, they cannot overtake this impulse because it's broken in their brain.
Right.
The impulse to commit this heinous crime.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not their fault because they didn't choose to do it.
Yeah.
Their brain is physically making them do it.
Right.
That you might go to some places where, there's like somebody who smashes their head into the wall and they have to wear a fucking helmet because they can't stop the impulse to like bash their fucking head on the wall.
Yeah.
So if that same thing, but their thing resulted in them doing something sadistic and heinous, but then you fixed it. You've now, in this made up scenario, we have to afford that this person is now just like everybody else. Mm-hmm. They live with the memory of what they did.
Yeah.
And they feel horrible now that they're fixed. And they're just like, oh my God, like why did the previous self do that?
Yeah.
Can you let that person go?
I feel like you're priming me to feel bad for saying no because you're like, we fixed it though. We fixed it. We fixed it. It's just, if I have a shitty car and it constantly breaks down and I fix it, I'm eventually going to get rid of the shitty car. And you don't want to take that choice with the heinous crime. I don't want to take that chance that if they made that big of a mistake that, like, well, we fixed it. It's okay. Like, maybe they won't do it again. Maybe he's not good enough for me. Maybe he's like...
What if you knew without a doubt, though, that, like, if you fix the car,
and it's
never not just
break
fixing
down.
it, you made it brand new.
Okay.
It's got the new car smell and everything.
Then it's not the same person anymore. So then
that's
you're not...
fine. Right. It's literally not the same person anymore.
Yeah. So then...
It's in the same shell. It's the ghost in the shell, right? You've swapped out the ghost and you now have a different shell. I mean, the same shell, but a different ghost in there.
Technically, you should let them go if it's not the same person. Because, everybody's body's the same. It's the thing that's inside that's driving. That's the difference.
Well, not everybody's body isn't the same, though.
Well, for the most part.
Right. Well, some people are... You cannot afford somebody who's a genius in mathematics. Mm-hmm. You can't be like... You can't give that person as much... You can't give somebody who's born 10 feet tall and a basketball player and be like, oh, you're such an amazing athlete having been born with the gift of being 10 foot
you're
tall.
taking it to the extreme. I didn't mean like that.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, being born a genius isn't that person's choice.
Yeah.
They were born with it. Mm-hmm. And, we applaud both, actually.
Right.
We applaud, athletes.
Athleticism and
probably
smart,
actually even more than smart people.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, like, you to go back to bring it back, the person you've fixed them. So yes, in a sense, you've changed who they were. Mm-hmm. They're no longer that person.
Mm-hmm. Do I let them go?
No.
Couldn't do it. Couldn't fucking do it. I know you keep priming me.
No. I just want to know. I don't have an argument for it either way. I just propose the argument. It's an interesting thought experiment.
Okay. No, I can't do it. It's because I don't know. It's weeding it out, survival of the fittest, shit like that. Like, you got to get it's thinning the herd. It sounds good in theory, but I don't want to take the chance, and that chance is what would fuck it up for something else. And then now you have to point the finger, yada yada. I mean, it doesn't sit right with me. It just doesn't. What do you do if you have the pill that fixes a person?
I'd let him go.
You let him go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the idea of thinning the herd or getting rid of it, it's like, well, you fixed them, so now they're going to have different genetic expression, so they're not going to be repoisoning the pool, making other people psychopaths. If you have the ability to fix somebody who's already a murderer, then for sure that within that analogy you can fix any pre-murderer.
Well, then you just give everybody the pill before they even murder.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just way too perfect, is what it seems like. It's too hypothetical.
I've read recently there's a study a while ago where they took mice and they did blood transfusions from like young mice into old mice. Mm-hmm. And they found that it basically reversed the aging process in the mouse, all the way up to cognitive abilities.
Right.
You know, brought their memories and their responses back. And they even did it with like human blood serum.
Okay.
Put that from a young human into an old mouse.
Okay.
And it had the same rejuvenating properties.
Yeah.
So there's some studies going on right now where they're going to take young blood from young humans and put it into old humans. And we already do blood transfusions. These are already like FDA approved. So there's no like, you know, we need to get clinical trial approval.
Yeah.
Because the technique that they want to do is something that's done 1,000 times in a hospital every day.
Yeah.
But just never monitored for this type of experiment. And there's of course, a Silicon Valley tech, you know, company that is going to do an experiment, but each person has to pay like $20,000 to be a part of it. To get, you know, older people to get young blood, and then they're just going to track that.
Yeah,
it's not even necessarily a scientific experiment. They're just going to do it and charge people for it, and then collect the data and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Then I read another story before you came over here where scientists were looking at a couple of genes revolving around like cancer, and they found out that if they turn these 4 genes on, that it extended the life of mice by 30%.
Yeah.
And so all of these things are kind of like, you know, building and coalescing. Are you the type of person that would choose to live forever if you could, or at least extend it to the point of where I can always choose to die later? So I'm just going to keep going.
Here's the thing that scares me about living forever is the human brain knows, like, I think we're only set up for so much. What happens when you reach that point of 120, 130, 140? Like, what the fuck do you start doing? Because I think after like a certain point, the part of the brain goes, all right, well, this is about the time that I'm supposed to die, and then you start accepting it, and then it happens. So, like, psychologically, I'm kind of freaked out, like, what the fuck would happen? I would like to live forever. That would be cool as fuck. But, I mean, eventually you collect enough memories and you collect enough that, like, nothing would become a surprise anymore. You'd start seeing patterns in how people develop, and you'd see the same people in different skins over and over again. Because if you ask any psychologist, there's a type A personality, type B, type A, yeah. So I think it'd get boring after a while, to be honest. Like, you just eventually start fucking with people. Just like, get your jollies off. I don't know. It's like, I would extend it, but I would need that, okay, I'm done, switch. To live forever, that sounds like more of a curse than a blessing, to be honest.
I mean, you could always just jump in front of a bus.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
No one's going to stop you from, like, laying down in front of a train track. But, like, if you got to 60 and you're like, yeah, this body sucks now.
Yeah, and just jump to another one.
And just go take some pill or some shots, you know, over the course of a couple of weeks, and then just watch yourself slowly. Every day you wake up, you look like a month younger.
Yeah.
You know, until you get back
Benjamin Button that shit.
Yeah,
and then
you
go
all the way
normal.
back to like 30.
Yeah.
You know, and you're just like, all right, this is good.
Okay.
Let's just live another 30.
Do I keep all my memories?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm telling you, man. That's just too much information after a
while.
while.
Why don't you want to keep your memories?
Well, because, like, I mean, you know when you watch a movie and you're like, God, that's a really good fucking good movie. And then you watch it 10 years later and you're like, it's a good movie, but I know all the, like, you know it. You'd like, and you're like, you know, it'd be really cool if I could watch The Sixth Sense again and not know that Bruce Willis was dead the whole time to get that shock. So that's what I'm talking. That's what I think when I'm saying, like, you'd eventually run out of surprises. Like, the world would stop surprising you.
What if they made a pill that you could take? So you're going to the movies. You're like, yeah, I'll take a popcorn, a large Diet Coke,
and a 2-hour eraser,
a 1 Rohypnol, please.
Yeah,
you know, and like you take that. You watch the movie,
and
you're like, "This is amazing," and you quickly like write down like, you know, your rating of the movie. You're like, "Fuck yeah, 9.5."
Come back,
right?
Watch
Definitely watch this.
Yeah,
and then by the time you get home, you're like, you can't remember the movie anymore. It's completely wiped from your brain, and you can go back and have that experience over again.
That'd be cool if it was just for the movie, but that happened in real life. That's Alzheimer's, pretty much. It's just like
Dementia.
bits going away.
Yeah, it's
You're like,
just
oh,
dementia.
fuck, man, I already jerked off. But no wonder I can't get it up.
Why are there blisters on my dick? Fuck, did I do this already?
It's just you furiously going at it for 5 hours. Oh man, good shit. I think we're on time. The cut it off time.
Are we? What time do you have right now?
I got. What time is it? It's 5:27. There's no way it's only been.
It's been an hour and 23 minutes.
Yeah, let's call it because
Cool.
I got to listen to these again.
All right.
Rob, splice it up, please.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Chad. Worthless fuck. If you guys want to, give us a shout out or anything, you can find us on Covalence Cast at Facebook and Reddit. I really hate Facebook right now. I like literally don't even go on there anymore.
Neither do I.
Don't even go to our Facebook page.
No, don't. We don't do anything really.
Yeah. Well, I post stuff.
Oh, okay.
But don't go there. Just go to Reddit.
Don't visit us at all.
fine.
Actually, only listen.
All right, cool. Thanks. Bye, guys.